Mark hanging out with my relatives.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, we're here. What's happening?
We were floored by the new intro.
We are loving the new intro.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob. Wonderful job.
Yeah,
I'm sure
Rob.
he did all those
Holy
sketches
smokes.
by hand.
How many
He's
hours
that good.
on that? Oh my gosh.
I know.
That's incredible.
Spent a
That really
week
was
on it.
good.
Right. I know it looks good.
Yeah.
So we were all just admiring Rob's work. What were you doing for the last 110 seconds?
Yeah.
Hopefully you caught the new intro. Welcome to NerdQuest TV, where nerds quest on TV.
I'm hiding behind my microphone arm. It looks like
Yeah, look at that.
New high octane.
Apparently, I am the voice that is heard but not seen.
Yeah.
The
I got
man
moved
behind the curtain.
Seriously, Todd, you have the perfect face for radio.
That's all right.
So we're just
It's all
gonna
good.
stick
It's
with
all
it.
good.
That's what you get for taking my seat.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
See, I spent the last 10 minutes adjusting this. So
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
good. Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Well, welcome everyone. So,
my goodness.
what a week. What a week.
It is a week.
Okay, quick question. What day of the week does the Mandalorian episode come out?
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays.
Wednesday.
Okay, so we only have one episode out so
And we got the
far.
last episode of Last of Us this Sunday.
Yeah.
Which is,
Haven't seen it yet.
that'll be-
Oh gosh.
So,
So good. It's
yeah,
been
was
nerd
tempted.
Heaven for the last
It
2
has
weeks.
been.
I struggled through The Consultant on Amazon because I thought it was supposed to be very sci-fi and
Was it
Christoph
not?
Waltz is in it and he's
Oh,
amazing
that's
in it.
right. Yeah.
But I
You know?
So
Yeah.
Mark will probably be the only one that knows this. Mark, you know Pedro Pascal, however you say his last name,
Yeah.
was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
oh yeah, many years ago.
Season
Many years
4,
ago.
I
was
think
like
it
one of his
was.
first gigs.
Yeah.
He was a kid.
It's when they were in college.
It was right the first episode when they went to the college.
Yeah.
And she's lost on campus, and she sees this young boy, and she's thinking, "Oh, is this a vampire, or something like usual?" And he's just this
No,
nice
no,
kid.
no. He's just a
Normal
Mandalorian.
kid.
And it's Pedro Pascal, and he shows her where to go, and she's like, and then she walks him to his place, thinking, "All right, he'll be safe." And then as she leaves, he gets attacked by a vampire,
and becomes one.
And becomes a vampire. And in the next scene, she has to kill him. So,
Aww.
and
That's nice.
What's funny is, I guess people have forgotten about it, and she tweeted it out because she's trying to bring attention to her new show.
Yeah.
If you aren't following Sarah Michelle
The werewolf
Gellar on
one?
Instagram, and you would like to see Sarah Michelle Gellar in a see-through top, you should follow Sarah Michelle Gellar on Instagram. She's like, now I have your attention. Watch my new show.
Is that an important safety tip?
Yeah.
Yes.
But anyway, but Pedro
I'm going into
Viewer warning.
was like, he was being interviewed for a Last of Us thing, and he's like, "What? Sarah tweeted about me?" And he's like, "Of course I remember that." And he's like, "And I remember every detail." And he goes into this like 10-minute description of every little thing that happened that night.
So I think an answer to your question, Mike, was
He knows.
he knew.
oh yeah.
No. This past weekend I've been watching Buffy. It's on one of the channels. They've been playing marathons of it, and I saw it. I'm like, that looks like Pedro. Let me double check. I'm like, oh, it was him. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jeremy Renner did
Yeah.
an episode of that. There's a bunch of guys
Cool.
before they were.
The last
What's
season,
up,
Nathan
Todd, what have you been
Fillion.
watching?
Right now, I'm looking at that see-through top of Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Wait, did you find it? That's not it.
I meant on the on the networks.
the
What have you been
television.
watching?
Oh, on the networks.
In the last week, what have you been watching?
There's Pedro right there. No, I hate to say it, but I just finished
Oh,
Yellowstone,
good stuff.
through season 5. Yeah. That's,
Am I the only one that has not watched
I
that?
know.
No.
I really enjoyed it.
You haven't
don't
either?
have Peacock,
Okay.
you can't.
Got nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been catching up on Picard. That has been a pleasant surprise after last season.
Worf
That
showed up, being
is. I was.
badass.
You mean
I was
Next
the same way.
Generation, the new series?
Right. I was waiting to see how the. So you think it's worth watching the third? Because
I will
Didn't
say,
jump to the third
okay,
season.
yeah.
Because the second season,
Oh, was it?
The
I
second
had-
season was awful.
I had a really hard time getting through.
And no, the third season, it opens and it's like, bam, okay, this is not going to be the same. And then they made the mistake, I think it was in the second or third episode, of letting somebody else direct it. And then they went back in this last episode and Frakes directs it
Frakes
again.
directed and it was
Frakes directs is like, oh, okay, good. This is really good again.
Yeah.
You know,
I
so it's
liked
like
Jonathan
that, whoever
Frakes,
that
yeah.
director
Right,
was,
Yeah,
out with him. It
Leave
was,
Jonathan Frakes because
Yeah.
he directed a ton of episodes of Leverage and Librarians and stuff.
yeah.
Like that.
Yes, I
And
love
those are
Librarians.
amazing shows.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like just keep him on.
Yep.
That's good to know.
Yeah, the other thing I've been going back to the vault. Something somebody mentioned put me on to watching Elementary.
Oh, good stuff.
I'd never seen it. And I'm like, okay. And I started, I'm like, this is the best Sherlock Holmes I have seen since Jeremy Brett.
Okay.
It's the one with Lucy Liu as Joan Watson.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. 7 seasons of it.
Yeah.
And I'm blown away because it's like,
Very good.
this is what Sherlock Holmes would be like if he were brought into the 21st century.
Is that the one where the guy from Hackers in it?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll let you answer that reference.
Yeah.
But I've just been absolutely blown away
Yeah, it's very
by
Johnny
the
Lee
writing.
Miller. That's his name.
Yes, Johnny Lee Miller.
Yeah.
Andrew Jolie's first husband.
Yeah, Angelina Jolie's.
No.
Yeah. Came out about the same time as the
Damn, Michelle.
Yes, it did.
The Moffat one. With
Yes.
Benedict
Yeah,
Cumberbatch.
Sherlock.
And so that one got all the press in England, and Elementary got kind of.
Yeah, it kind of got shunted to the side.
It built up, whereas Sherlock, they would only do one.
Sherlock died in season 4 too. It was awful.
Yeah, I know.
And no, this one just absolutely took off. And I mean, right from the very beginning, and the writing, just like with Sleepy Hollow, the writing is absolutely consistent.
I forgot about
There's
Sleep.
no such thing. I mean, not even as a bad episode, but a bad scene.
Yeah.
Nothing is poorly written.
It's very
So
well done.
I'm
It is.
very satisfied.
I
I'm
agree.
almost done with the first season. So I'm looking at like 153 episodes.
It's
Oh
the only
my
one
God.
That, the Doyle estate approved too. I mean,
Oh,
they only
that's
approved
interesting.
That one and the Moffat.
The Moffat.
Those are the only
Yeah.
two that were approved, and now
Yep.
it's all public domain.
Now
It
it's all,
doesn't
yeah.
matter,
But
then
no, it's
they were the only two.
absolutely outstanding. I mean, the mysteries
That's why
are
they're
great.
the ones that
You
have
can
more art.
stop the show with 10 minutes left and try to work it out.
Oh yeah.
You can actually
Those were
do
there.
that.
Those were
It's
there.
really cool.
That's
It's very,
the
very
best,
well
though.
done
There's
mystery.
nothing
Those are the
worse
ones.
when they throw in those, it's the
twisty
big,
thing, yeah, that
they
you
go to
couldn't
the big
know.
resolve in the end, and there's like
Yeah.
47 clues. No one had a clue. No one.
Yeah, but it's the 48th clue that we didn't show you that's the real
Murder by
answer.
Death.
Exactly, yeah.
Murder by Death. If you haven't seen that movie, there's
Yeah.
a great classic with it was a Neil Simon play.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Movie, and they have all the great detectives there, and of course at the end they're joking about, you're all villains. You hid clues from us so that we couldn't solve it. you introduced characters in the last act that weren't even in the first 3/4 of the book.
Yes.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
I was in a play in high school called The Butler Did It,
That's a good one.
and
Were you the butler?
no,
What's that one? That's,
I was Peter Flimsy.
Who wrote that one? I'll have to.
I don't know. I got to look it up.
It's
But
a
no,
classic.
I was Peter Flimsy,
That's
the
good.
the Peter Whimsy character.
Yeah.
Yes, everyone had
Murder by
like
Death, I did the Sam,
Sam Spade?
Sam Spade,
Yeah.
knockoff. Which was,
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
interestingly, in ours, everybody was somebody else. And in the end of ours, I was not actually Peter Flimsy.
Yeah.
I was actually the Sam Spade guy.
Oh, nice.
So I had to go straight from British to gruff San
Gruff
Francisco
San
like
Francisco,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, so that was fun.
I kept doing Peter Falk just because I was stuck with him playing it in the movie. So I was like, I'm an impressionist, not an actor. So
Yeah, there you have
I'll
it.
say it.
No,
Yeah.
no, but if you do
Okay, so
Oh.
I want to get into topic 2 because we're talking about things here that all right. So I went on a binge on the Retro Vault.
Here we go.
all right.
Because I'm having a procedure done soon, and so I'm going to be off for a couple weeks here, gang. Don't worry, I'm disappearing for a little bit, but I will be back. Even though I'm all over the new logo.
His face will
which
be
is
different.
great.
His
Yeah,
face
but-
will be different.
Yep. So anyway, I was feeling a little down, so I started watching the things that cheer me up. I watched the Godzilla marathon, and
Good
then
one.
I decided to watch James Bond.
Yes.
The Bond movies always
In order?
cheer you up. I was doing them in order. Yes.
Wow.
100%. And so Dr.
Did you
No,
watch the
and I
George
went all the way
Lazenby?
up, and I'm up into...
Oh, wait. You didn't start with Casino Royale.
I did start with Casino Royale.
Aha!
I actually started with the British television.
Exactly, Casino Royale.
Not the one
Yep.
with David Niven.
No.
The OG one with
Yep.
Ian Fleming.
There you have it.
And I actually watched a little prequel movie that was of the biography of Ian Fleming, played by his son, Sean.
Oh, neat.
Sean Connery's son, who was playing Ian Fleming. So it was.
Oh,
pretty
that's
cool.
funny.
That is
Anyway,
interesting.
And it was, it was a long, convoluted process.
So-
So I get up to Roger Moore, and I'm enjoying the Roger Moore era. and we do
George
Spy
Lazenby.
Love Me,
Okay.
and we get the introduction of Jaws, one of the greatest movies.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Not the shark.
No.
Although the shark is
No.
great.
Captain Metal Teeth.
Metal Teeth were played by the great Richard Keel.
Yes.
Absolutely.
6'6", 300 pounds, and just all muscle, and one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Met him in West Virginia. He was not Lurch. He could have played Lurch.
He wasn't.
No, Lurch was Richard Cassidy.
You're right, it was.
But they both
Right.
played a lot of the same type roles.
Yeah, and they kind of looked the same. So, yeah, that worked.
Keel, most famous probably besides Jaws, was Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. He played the guy who fights for the rivalry.
Didn't he do Happy Gilmore as well?
Huh?
Wasn't he in Happy Gilmore?
He was in
that
a lot of movies, yeah.
He
And
was.
he was actually a preacher.
right.
And that's,
Yeah.
which is funny.
Now, the first time I saw him, he was in Longest Yard with Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
I think I broke his freaking neck.
Amazing guy, Ted Cassidy, like I said, with Butch Cassidy, and then
Yep.
Lurch. So they get confused a little bit.
Oh, there you go.
Richard Keel, yep, there he is. There's all his stuff.
Very
Yeah,
good,
Happy
Rob.
Gilmore.
Very good, Rob.
Navarone.
Right there, yeah.
What?
So, well, anyway, he shows up in
Yes.
Spy Love Me, and I was like, hey, this brings me back to my drive-in days when I was running the Mustang drive-in. I was a projectionist as it was dying, and they would basically let us run any movie we wanted.
Wow.
And I was like, oh yeah, any we could get.
Right.
They were
Right.
closing us. So I got Spy Who Loved Me and Moonraker, and I called it the Jaws double feature, even though
Oh,
Jaws
boy. Yes.
wasn't a
Even
Jaws
though
movie.
there were no sharks
there were no
involved.
sharks
Oh, that's
involved.
very nice, though. That's very nice.
That's good.
So so Spy Who Loved Me, Jaws shows up. He doesn't die because he can't be killed. He's basically the toughest Bond villain
Yes.
ever.
Yes.
He gets in a car crash. He
Yes.
walks away from it.
His skeleton
Dusts off his
is
suit, always dusts off his suit.
made of plutonium.
And
Yes.
he's got the metal teeth.
Exactly.
It's called-
Which are also made of plutonium.
Right.
Go ahead.
So he disappears from the end of that movie. They don't kill him.
And they do conduct electricity, too. So go ahead.
Exactly. That's how he gets him knocked out of the train. Bond
Exactly.
can incapacitate him, but can never kill him. So in the second movie,
Yes.
comes up is Moonraker.
Mudraker. Yes.
And Moonraker, there's the villain who
It is.
Drax is probably one of the best Bond villains.
Actually, Moonraker is probably one of my favorite Roger Moore
Exactly, because they were
movies.
trying to do Star
Absolutely.
Wars.
Yeah.
Because everybody had to do a Star Wars movie.
They rang
Right.
all the bells with that
Closest
for
they
sure.
could do for James Bond Star Wars. And this guy is stealing space shuttles, his own space shuttles,
Yep.
to build a space station in space to make a new master race. He's going to poison the Earth with these weird flowers that are going to explode in space and kill millions. It's a crazy plot, but he's hiring somebody to kill Bond because Bond keeps killing his henchmen. And he's on the phone with somebody. He's like, oh, well, if you can get him. That's perfect. It's a throwaway line.
Right.
And then we see Jaws.
Yes.
At Carnival, who kills one of Bond's girls of the movie, one of his first Bond girl of the movie. And so Jaws is irredeemable. And then we get him attacking them on a ski lift type thing.
Yes.
And there's this great, he breaks the cord with
Yeah,
his
he bites the
teeth.
cable
And
and
then
yes.
he hand walks down, and they're trying to do a zip line away, and there's a big fight on top of the cable cars, and then he chases them down the hill, and then he gets in the cable car and has his other buddy down there turn the cable car on super fast while Bond's trying to zip line down, and he's coming super fast, and he's all excited, and then Bond drops, and he's like, oh, but then he hits. He sees
Right.
and he hits the wall, crashes through it, and of course he's Jaws.
He gets up and walks away.
He's got this big cog wheel stuck on him. He's stuck in the garbage, and this blonde girl comes running up to him, in little pigtails and glasses.
Right.
And she's just this adorable little thing as Jaws is trying to get out of the thing, and she helps him out of the wreckage.
Mm-hmm.
And then he smiles at her, and you hear Romeo and Juliet Tchaikovsky's sweet play as he smiles at her with his shiny teeth. And I remember showing this in the drive-in many a night because it's just the greatest moment in cinematic history. She smiles back up with him with her braces.
With braces. Yep.
And the music swells, and so they're in love, and they run off together hand in hand. Now, a little bit later, we're on the space station. Bond's gotten up to the space station, and Jaws is up there, catches him, and she's running around in one of the spacesuits, because Jaws has recruited her, But then the bad guy's giving his spiel about the master race. Trust me, gang, I know this has been 10 minutes recapping a 50-year-old Bond movie, but you're going to love it.
Easy. 30.
1980, 79? So,
Get 40. Shut up.
40.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, like I said, it was Star Wars time. Back to the story. So Drax gives his speech about how he's going to create the new master race.
His monologue, of course.
So Bond goes, does that mean anyone with genetic deformities would not be allowed? As he kind of looks over at Jaws, and he looks over, and Jaws starts,
you can see
Richard
him.
Keel,
He processes.
Yeah.
Process it. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Girl,
And her faulty teeth.
and he's like, and so then he's like, all right, now throw him into the airlock, Jaws, and Jaws turns, and it's Darth Vader. Spoiler for Return of the Jedi. It's Darth Vader turning against the Emperor. It's Jaws is now on James Bond's side, and they start fighting back. They get subdued pretty quickly, but then that's when the Marines show up in their space, the U.S. Marines show up in
Space Force.
Space Force launched yet. We'd only seen the Enterprise in test runs,
right?
And then they actually had guys in EVA suits coming out. It was pretty amazing.
It did. You notice that some of them had the lasers in the front, a few of them, and then the other ones had up here.
Oh yeah. You had the space station. Bond turns off the gravity. There's a zero-G fight. Yeah. And it goes on and on and on. But at the end, Jaws helps him escape.
Right.
And he and the girl just sit on the space station as it's blowing up around them, and they go. And Jaws has his one line in two movies because he's this big tough guy. He doesn't say anything. He says, "Here's to us." He opens a bottle of Bollinger with his teeth, and they drink some champagne. And then their bit of the ship blows apart and flies away. And Bond leans over and goes, "They'll be fine. It's only 100 miles to Earth." And I'm like, really? And then there's a throwaway line later. He's like, we're two survivors of the space station, a large man and a small blonde girl. And it's like, okay, great bit, cute bit, of course. And Moonraker ends. Yep. Bond saves the day. That's the big point.
Wow, that's different.
But it's a good movie.
Guess what?
What?
She didn't have braces.
That's not how it really went down. Jaws gets his crash, and he comes out of the ski lift, and she comes over and helps him out of the thing, and he smiles with his shiny teeth, and she smiles back with her perfect smile with no braces. And I said, what the hell,
to the
Spielberg editing, digital remastery BS is this effing?
Right. Handgun, the walkie-talkie.
I'm like, this will not
Han
stand.
shot first.
I'm like, it was, the Spielberg editing, the walkie-talkies.
Exactly, the walkie-talkie and the pistols.
And this is exactly right, because I'm sitting here remembering the same thing. And that's how the Mandela effect works.
Well, and that's exactly. I'm like about to write this nasty letter to MGM saying you need to re-release this unedited, because I watched it at least a dozen times at that drive-in.
Yeah.
Always watching that scene because it's an amazing scene.
And what'd you come up with?
That never happened. She never had braces.
No.
Never had braces. Ever. Ever.
And here's where it is. What movie is it that we are cross-referencing? Because I remember it as well. It's a different movie.
So
in which
this is where the bunny trail gets crazy.
Yes.
So
now it gets crazy.
We're just getting started here, guys. So now I dig into it, and I'm like, I dig out my VHS copy. I'm like, I have a VHS, and I'm like, I'm going to go back to the original VHS and
there you go,
suckers wrong.
Right.
And it's not
no braces.
She's got perfect teeth.
See.
And I'm like, so now it's just because she's got a lot of cleavage that he falls in love with her, right?
Well,
but if you go to the MGM website, where the James Bond wiki, where they list all the characters and everything, it talks about her having braces.
Oh, that's too funny.
And then the making of, which is on the VHS, which was weird because I didn't think VHS did making ofs, but they did. It talks about her being fitted for braces. But she never wore them.
There she is.
Just dun.
I absolutely remember her having braces. There.
Clean teeth. No braces. Dolly, ladies and gentlemen.
That's amazing.
And I'm like, what the hell? So
here's what it is.
I've got to find an original reel-to-reel.
But her imperfection is not her braces; it's her glasses.
It's her glasses.
It's her glasses.
And pigtails. And
just imperfection. Yeah, genetic imperfection is the glasses. And so here's the thing: there is a movie where the boy hero, whatever, and the girl smiles and she has braces too.
Yes.
And it's somewhere back there, and we've short-circuited them and crossed them over.
The 80s typical nerd was always
braces.
the girl with braces. Or
glasses
the boy with
and
braces. And it was always the pigtails and the braces. So maybe we're just conflating that. But I swear, 1990s,
Confabulation.
when I ran that movie a dozen times, she had braces. And I always, had a thing for girls with braces. So that's why, and I thought it was because of that movie. And now I'm like questioning my life. And then that's when I discovered. So when you Google Moonraker Dolly's braces, that took me down Mandela effect.
Oh, that's awesome, though. Yeah.
Yes.
There's a ton on. Yeah, that's good.
Now, you guys know the famous ones, right?
Sure. Like Mickey Mouse having suspenders.
Yes, and Berenstain Bears versus
Yes.
Right.
Or what's his name
Yeah.
being in
The Monopoly
Shazam.
guy with
Yep.
the Monica.
Sinbad.
Sinbad.
Sinbad in a movie called Shazam instead of Shaq and Kazam. And it's and these all go back to a lady at Dragon Con in 2003. A writer. She was seeing that Nelson Mandela was coming to speak at an event, and she remembered him dying in the 1990s.
Yep.
And remembered his funeral.
That's true. Yeah. He was supposed to have perished in a camp
prison.
or something.
In prison.
And his wife gave an impassioned speech and all this. She remembered all this. And then so she does this panel at Dragon Con saying, does anybody else remember this? And a lot of people did.
Yep.
But then a lot of people were like, oh no, we're going to go see him next week. So that's why it became known as
the Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, what's happened with this is people have studied it and started researching it, and because this is an actual field of study now for conspiracy theorists. Poor John's not here; he's missing all this.
He is missing it for sure.
He's watching from home.
I'm sure he's watching from home, but
we just didn't have enough chairs for him.
With his tinfoil hat on, as he's putting the pins in all the Mandela effects. It started CERN. The year they started the Hadron Collider is the year all these things.
Oh wow!
That is a deep dive, dude.
Wow!
They created a Big Bang in their thing. Did they create parallel timelines?
Yeah. And
some of us remember certain ones, and some of us don't remember others.
And because I've got two incidents. One in which we broke the news to the kids that Sherry Lewis of Lamb Chop fame had died, and that was really sad. Our kids were like 5 and 3 or something like that, and it was really sad. And explained to them, Sherry Lewis, sometimes these things happen. This is our first big talk about death, and it was the worst lesson ever because 2 years later she's on a show live.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, we taught them the wrong lesson.
Yeah.
But then there was the amazing time when
the Reanimator,
when my out summer of '77, out playing wiffle ball at Dave Jelly's house, and David's seen this movie that he's telling us all about. It's just amazing, and it's hilarious, and he's telling us all the jokes. It's from Airplane. And it was just hilarious. And I remember hearing about it. And of course, I couldn't go see it because Star Wars was supposed to be out that summer, but we didn't get to see it till November. And speaking of November, it was really funny because Airplane didn't come out until November of 1980.
Yeah.
So what the hell was I remembering that I completely crossed over? And just like, all these things, the braces, we crisscross them. That method is called confabulation.
Right.
Where you take similar things, they get short-circuited in your brain because they're stored in the same area and they're similar. Mm-hmm. A lot of people think Alexander Hamilton was a president.
Yeah, a lot of people. There's tons of things like that.
Yes,
it is. But I am zeroing back around to the collider thing because that
blew his mind.
Fantastic. I mean, I can.
So here's the thing: who remembers what year it was?
1993. And that's the year that all this.
That is just the most amazing thing.
That's when all the Mandela effect officially starts.
Is that when all of the razor blades and needles in the Halloween candy vanished? Because that never actually happened either.
That never happened. Yeah. Nobody put drugs in a candy.
So, the movie lines get a little wonky for people.
Han still shot first, damn it. I don't care. I don't care what timeline it is. Han shot first.
That's exactly right.
Scotty Beam Me Up. is never.
Well, of course,
said.
it's never said.
Never said.
Yeah.
Luke, I am your father.
Luke, I'm your
Never
father.
said.
Yeah.
Never said. No, I am your father.
And who is it that's telling me that is not Alec Guinness playing the Emperor in the original Empire Strikes?
No, it was Clive.
No, I say it's a woman
No,
playing
it's a
the
guy.
part.
No, in the original Empire, before they redigitized it.
Nope, it's Alec Guinness.
It was Clive
Alec
Revel.
Guinness.
I remember Clive Revel.
I
I
remember
remember it was being someone else before.
Yeah, before
they made it into eventually,
but it was Clive
Palpatine,
Revel
but
was who did it because it was Sir Clive Revel, and it was the first time they had actually Alec Guinness was not Sir Alec Guinness yet, and they made him a knight. After
see,
Star
and
Wars.
here we are.
Yeah.
Right
Again,
now, remembering things very differently because in an article I read, it strictly said, and you can't tell us that's not Alec Guinness behind those Foster Grants.
Yeah, no. But
Okay.
I
Yeah.
remember seeing Empire like 23 times in the theater, so it was,
Oh,
I knew it was
easily.
Clive Revel was a guy.
I had it on VHS, I had it on video disc, and then of course I have it, the edited one now.
Yeah,
but
no,
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, and I think Alec was Empire,
No,
didn't he?
no.
I think that,
No.
He died around 1980, I thought.
No. He was in it.
No, because he's in Jedi.
He's in it, and he's in Jedi too.
Yeah.
I just what's that meme going around right now? It's so funny. Alec walks in Jedi, and he sits down talking to Luke, and he sits on the log side. At that moment when the Jedi ghost gets tired and has to sit down.
Yes. I
I don't want to be a ghost in that universe. Yeah.
Okay,
So
there's my 30-minute rant on Moonraker and the Mandela Effect. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Good night.
it was brilliant. Actually, it was only 20 minutes.
Show's over.
But I thought it was.
I
It
don't know.
was.
I think the
welcome
gem
to our
out of
rabbit
that
holes.
is the collider
Yeah,
theory,
yeah.
because
The
that
CERN's
is
collider.
That is the only common denominator they can all find.
That
for this
is
stuff.
the thread that needs to be pulled.
Yeah. So
because that's amazing.
we can't think of anything before 93.
That's when it started being pointed out.
Yeah. See,
So
that's
just it. Nobody points out Berenstain Bears before 93.
Yeah.
So but that's also when the internet first starts really taking off too. So
yes, and we could all start to compare our
We're
faulty
not just
memories.
talking on AOL Instant Messenger.
In our little chat rooms.
Yeah. BBSs. So
Oh my
but
god.
anyway, crazy, right?
Yeah, that is crazy.
Crazy
though.
bunny trail. So thank you, gang. And if you want more on that, you can listen to our episode of Eerie Travels, the new podcast.
I knew it was a pitch.
On all
I knew it.
podcasts. I did a whole
pitch.
hour on this crap.
Oh, that's
So,
crazy though.
Yeah. So this was just a 20-minute preview of the 1 hour
I
program.
just thank you guys for letting me hijack the show.
Hey, that's what friends are for.
Yeah. Anyway, oh my gosh.
Anyway,
It is.
So we move
what's
on.
next, gentlemen?
Oh, baby cryptids. Whoops, sorry.
Baby cryptids.
Baby cryptids.
Well, no,
Oh my goodness.
you always have what I consider the alpha, the A-list cryptid. You have like Sasquatch, you have Loch Ness, you have
Big monkey.
Yep. I see where you're going.
Jersey
Yeah.
Devil, right?
Yep.
Right, all that.
Yeah.
There's Jersey Devil. There's
Right.
Yeah,
Kermit,
Bigfoot.
But I just think a lot of
Loveland
people.
Frogman, I think so.
you would know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So.
But I think I like the sort of the B team cryptids
Yeah,
because
that's
it's
my
like
favorite thing.
it's like the ones that
They don't get the
it's
love.
like the Lake Erie Frogman and
The Loveland Frogman.
Yeah,
from
there we go.
Loveland,
Yeah, there we go.
Ohio.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So
they
there's
just had a festival last week.
Oh, did I really?
The
All
first
right.
one.
So yeah. So I think so. I like the whole B team cryptids
it's-
that
we called them in my book Erie Appalachia, available from Fun Bookstore. Now available on audio.
If you go to a certain bookstore, you might find some autographed copies that he did last
He
week.
signed them, yeah. But we call them holler monsters in our books because they're like the family. You go through the Appalachians, they have all these hollers.
Yeah.
Which is where the families live in the valleys.
Right.
And they keep the tales in the holler. Like, this is, we have the old man of the woods, and that's their Bigfoot. Or we have the little people who live out here, the moon-eyed people, and that's their fae, And it's the same thing in the Scottish Highlands.
So is holler just a mispronunciation of hollow? Yes,
exactly.
it is.
So it's the Appalachian or
Yeah,
Appalachian,
it's
depending
down
on
in the
north
holler.
of the Mason
Oh,
Dixon.
that's
Yep.
okay.
So, but like the Mothman is a holler monster that popped. It got in the news. It made it big.
Right.
The Flatwoods monster, not quite as known, but is still in the right circles.
So now, would you consider like the Florida skunk ape?
I think it's
in the
just big-
pecking
it's-
order of.
It's just Bigfoot with a different name because Florida we can't have nice things, so
No,
we have to
absolutely.
rename
That's true.
everything
That's true.
as soon as it crosses that Florida
Every time I
line.
kayak, I look for the skunk.
It's a Bigfoot. It's a skunk ape. There's a sea monster up in Georgia called Allahatmaha, which is in the Allahatma Lake, Allahatma. But there's
What
a
a
river
coincidence.
that comes out that's called the St. Johns River, comes down here to Florida. And we have a river monster that matches the exact description of that creature, except that one's green, and the one down here in Florida is the color boiled shrimp. So he's pink. So he's like an albino of this. But do we call it the Beast of St. John's? No. Do we call it the St. John's River Monster? No.
No.
We call it Pinky.
Pink. Oh.
So that's Florida. So, because Florida can't have nice things.
We cannot have nice things.
But I love lesser known cryptids, yes, because those are holler monsters that just haven't popped. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, and there are dozens and dozens and dozens of them.
All right.
And for those who aren't aware, cryptid, CRYPTID, these are animals for which there is no evidence, but there is often a lot of reports of their sightings.
Now
Cryptid.
This one is my family cryptid. This is from my
I see the
family
resemblance.
property. Yeah, exactly. He has the head of a deformed man. He's got a wooden leg and the body of a cow or a cat, a small cat.
With hooves?
With hooves.
Goat?
Yes. And it leaves
Goat. Cow.
So,
goat.
again,
Yeah, those are goat.
people can't have nice things, so it has a name that sounds like it's right out of South Park. This is called the bench leg. The bench leg of Goble Ridge.
It does sound like it's out of South
And it
Park.
jumps from tree to tree and it whoops you with its leg.
That is amazing.
That's its whoop-ass stick. This is the Loveland Frogman. We were just talking about that.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go.
Spotted by two cops in the 1970s. Originally spotted by a businessman in the 1950s. Disappears for 20 years and then shows back up. And when the cool thing about it is it jumps over that guardrail, talks to like two other ones before jumping into the river there.
Oh.
And when the guy's looking at it, it turns and pulls a wand on him. So like it's like, back off, man! I got a wand.
That is
shoots,
amazing.
like lightning at him. So
Now, see, if you look at that, I can almost sort of go into a Cthulhu mode as like a deep one type of a thing with that creature.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that-
exactly. And the cops, the second cop who sees it says, "Oh, I killed it. It was an iguana with no tail, and that's why you misidentified it, protecting his buddy's reputation because he was getting run through the mud as the
I'm
frog
sure.
man." And then when they said, "Well, where's the body for the iguana?" Oh, no idea. No idea.
Yeah.
Now this is in Pennsylvania, actually kind of near Alexandria, Virginia, on that border. That bridge behind it, it's actually a tunnel, but they call it Bunny Man Bridge. And this is actually a real thing. This is 1950s. A guy in a bunny suit attacks a bunch of people with an axe. Nobody gets hurt, but the police are called, and he hops away. He's a very wascally subject.
I think you meant that a guy in a bunny suit with an axe attacked a lot of people.
Yes.
Okay, just
Yeah, just so
confirming.
you know.
Yes.
Now,
He didn't
real
like,
story-
hey, all those people have an axe. I'll go get them.
And of course, there's all these urban legends about it, about a guy who,
Of course.
made a suit made out of dead bunnies as he skinned them, and he's attacked people. He's an escapee from Penhurst Asylum, and they actually have a haunted house there every year. That's
But ever since 1993, everybody remembers him just going and going and going.
That's too much.
all right. So this is a Bigfoot.
Oh, is it a baby? Is it a baby
This is
Bigfoot?
actually Ohio's Bigfoot.
There's
Again,
a lot of Bigfoot sightings in Ohio.
Ohio, yeah. And
That's
this
about
one
my
is called
size.
the Ohio Grassman because he has rock star hair.
Oh.
And
Me as a
everybody
teenager.
described him as rock star hair. Again, mostly cited in the 80s. But
No,
he's
I can see that.
He's standing in wheat fields.
Definitely a
every time
White
I see
Snake
him.
fan.
And he's, those stalks are supposed to be about 4 or 5 feet. He's supposed to be like 8 or 9 feet tall.
Now, wasn't he also spotted by the Serpent Mound down in Ohio?
He's been spotted all over
Right,
Ohio,
right.
and that's what they call him, the grass man up there. It's
Yeah,
our
yeah.
skunk ape. They call him the grass
Gotcha.
man.
The Serpent Mounds are pretty interesting up there, too. so.
I believe there's a serpent cryptid called the Crosswick serpent. We'll get in, but this is the Hopkinsville goblins. This was probably the first alien encounter that is like publicly documented in the 1950s after Roswell. These silver guys show up and attack a family in Kentucky, and they fight them off with shotguns.
Of course they did.
It's crazy. Yeah, and
That just makes me happy. That whole
yep.
statement.
So they were called the
And you know what?
Tubmen.
That is another Cthulhu adventure right there.
Well, the thing is with them is they're silver, but the newspapers was the first time they called them because they said they had green eyes and silver skin. So the newspapers report them as these things called little green men. And that's the first time that ever hits the newspapers.
Wow.
I can
The
see
family in Hopkinsville, the fun thing about them is that they had to rebuild their farm because it got destroyed by all these people coming to look for the Tubmen because they flew by in a tub.
That is the best.
Oh, this is one of my favorite. Anybody want to name this guy? Take a guess.
Pterodactyl eating octopus.
No.
No.
I think German.
Tentacle
If
source.
you're going to name this, this is actually the Dutch colonies up in Pennsylvania.
In
area.
Pennsylvania, New York? Yeah,
They
okay.
saw this thing. And so they had a German name.
Oh.
It was very fast and would fly in and grab your children and drain its blood with those tentacles. Drain your children's blood and fly away. Or your livestock.
So,
So,
all right, what you got?
German Schnellergeist.
Schneller, guys.
Fast Spirit was the name.
I was
But,
way off
Of
with
course,
what I was
we call
thinking,
it
so.
the Americanized version, the Snallygaster.
The
Smelligaster.
Snallygaster.
That's not
That
Cthulhu.
works.
And there's a museum for him up in Pennsylvania called the Snallygaster Museum.
That's awesome.
And he was seen all over from West Virginia to New York. Now, what's cool about him is our beloved president at the time, Teddy Roosevelt, who loves hunting things, had heard the Smithsonian put $1 million bounty out on this thing. And then Napoleon's nephew or grandnephew or something like that, he attacked it with a cannon and it bounced off.
Yes, that was Napoleon Dynamite, I believe. Yes.
So when he's like, it cannot be killed. So Teddy Roosevelt delays
I'll take that challenge.
a trip,
Right.
a diplomatic trip to go hunting the Snallygaster. So a president, can you imagine that in the news today? You know?
Oh, that's
Yes,
Well,
yes,
the
I
funny
can.
is he actually-
Yes, I can.
He actually took the time to go hunting in Africa and didn't tell anybody because he wanted to go on a safari. But he was supposedly hunting the Snallygaster.
Oh, that's the best though.
Yes.
Oh, look at this guy. Any idea?
No.
The hoof man.
He's from Kentucky.
Oh, he does look like Krampus. I'm gonna
Yeah, he
throw
does
him
look
with
like Krampus.
Yeah, I'll
A
throw him
little
with Rob on
Krampus.
that.
Yeah.
He's in an area over a trestle bridge. We love our trestle.
Ah, some type of troll, huh?
And he jumps off the bridge and attacks you with an axe. Now, over the years, his axe has changed. Originally, it was
Billy
like,
Goat
it
axe?
was like a tomahawk.
Yeah.
So they say he was like a native spirit that
Right.
was doing this. But then as he's gotten older, it's become more like a modern lumberjack axe.
Oh.
And the trestle bridge spans a river called Pope Lick. So he is the Pope Lick monster.
The Pope Lick.
But he is also known as the Goat Man.
Okay.
But
I like
now
the Pope
I kind of get Goat Man.
I'm
the
sure that
thing is
offends
with
all the
him-
Pope
Catholics.
licking, I got nothing on.
we did an episode of Eerie Travels on him, Rob, remember? He is the one cryptid with an actual body count
Oh.
because people go investigating him.
Fall off the
And they go out and fall off that bridge. And most recently, a 16-year-old girl.
bridge. Oh, no, that's
died
sad.
from
Why do you
that
tell me that?
Instagram thing doing it.
You're ruining everything, man.
Well, I'm just saying, be careful
we
when
had
you
this really
go.
happy
these
buzz
go
going
cryptid
on.
hunting.
That trestle bridge, it looks abandoned. It's active. CSX crosses it 18 times a day. Do not go on that bridge.
Oh.
You cannot make it across. You're not faster than a train. Thank you. That's what drones are for. Send a drone up.
Yeah,
Enjoy.
important safety tip. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, all right, that was
Can
constructive.
outrun a train. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
All right, Mike, you got that?
Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Trip down cryptids there?
No, I like cryptids.
Cryptid
Like I said,
Lane.
Those are just some. I mean, there's tons and tons of others. I mean, there's ones like my bench leg story that are just. I had people telling me, while we were doing Erie Appalachia, they would tell me stories about, their monster and their holler that was only their family knew. Well, a lot were like deals with devil type things, like you give
Crossroads
them a
Demons?
thing.
Yeah.
Crossroads Demons, big time. Give them a thing, and then they'll give you a thing, and all this. One of my favorites was in Huntington. They had a family and showed me these letters.
Huntington,
West Virginia.
West Virginia, thank
They
you.
showed me these letters from their
familiar
brother who was living in Olympia, Kentucky, which is not too far from Huntington, far enough. And he was working for a mine there. and he sent letters, and it was like, hey, hope to see you at the wedding, how's cousin Lottie? We had a weird thing happen in the mine where we broke through a wall, and there were these creatures that were eating a bear, and they looked like crazy people with bug eyes, and they scared us, and we're not going back into the mine. What do you think we should do? Hope to hear from you soon. Love, Bob. And then then there's the next letter, that was a great idea.
Joking about the creatures in the mine. It never happened.
Thanks for sending. So I assume they sent a letter back saying, don't go back in that freaking mine.
Right. Dynamite?
Well, he said, so the owner hired gunmen to kill the creatures and killed the bears, and all is well. We're going back to work. And now I looked up newspapers accounts at that time, and sure enough, there's an ad for gunmen wanted for the Olympia mine. The Olympia Rose Run mine.
That is amazing.
And then
Cthulhu.
So 10 years later,
I'm always going to go there. I'm
a
sorry.
major disaster with an explosion, and it kills like 20 some odd men. So was it the curse of the as the family called them, the bogeyman?
That is
the bogeyman of Olympia, Kentucky. So. And that's how many other stories like that are out there?
Oh, I'm sure there's hundreds of stories.
And of course, the Meemaws and Peepaws who are telling these stories are dying off, right?
Yeah.
And the kids today they're watching NerdQuest and playing on. Hopefully, you're watching NerdQuest. But get your grandma and grandpa to tell you those stories and write them down. Put them on your TikTok. Put them on your Instagram. Keep the folklore alive, people. We need to keep it alive. It's dying off. So.
Right. I mean, my only folklore was my grandpa ran booze for the mob during Prohibition.
So that's great.
See, my dad told me that one time when he was really young, up in Claremont, New Hampshire, the power went out. And, mom and dad weren't home, and he was the oldest, so he had to go down to the basement. And it was kind of scary. He was like 10, 12 years old at the time. And he had to go down and check to see what happened with the fuses. And he got down there, and there was some huge creature down there that had yanked the fuse out. And that was just like, this is just what he's saying.
Yeah.
And what was neat was my dad used to tell these ghost stories. Mm-hmm. And one of the things he did, we actually recorded him once. And then
that's brilliant. That's
very good. I wish I could find that tape. It was a cassette tape, but I'd played it enough that a lot of the stuff is stuck in my head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, because because he died in 1972. And so that was the only record of any of these stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's try to do that now, please, everybody.
Yep.
And
whatever you can maintain.
And then also there are the sites, that we talk about on Parageeks and some, the Bigfoot Research Organization website, the MUFON, there's other UFO sites because
CERN Collider.
MUFON.
Yep.
And report your grandpa's story. Grandpa said he saw Bigfoot in this place in 1963. You don't have to be completely, you don't know if it was a Wednesday or a Thursday or whatever date, but he said he saw it. Put that down there because it might corroborate some other guy's story or some other lady's story, because that's what's happening now is, people are posting.
Well, look at this newspaper ad you found.
Yeah.
Matching up with this letter that this family had.
And that had no reason to be there otherwise.
Nope.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how we document these things. And suddenly it's not cryptozoology and pseudoscience. Now it's history. And
Right.
Exactly.
No, that's amazing. I love that stuff.
More real. So, oh my gosh. So let's move on. We've done that.
Teenage Mutant.
Cryptids to be
what's
done.
next, gang?
Teenage what?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has a new movie coming out.
Oh,
No
Seth
way.
Rogen.
Yes,
I heard
Seth Rogen.
I heard it's another,
Another.
Reboot.
not a reboot. It's another politically correct woke.
They've done some
No,
changes.
no. So
but not
people are
really.
saying stuff, but in the original Ninja Turtle comic, when it came out, April O'Neil was a person of color. She was Spanish mixed and everything.
Yep.
Then it was when they went to do the cartoon, they're like, oh, we're going to do it white because,
Yes.
Well, her name is April O'Neil. That's kind of Irish.
yeah.
So it makes
so-
sense.
But the only thing I'm a little concerned is Donatello is a girl.
Paul Rudd is in it, playing Mondo
Jackie
Gecko.
Chan is Splinter.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Bebop is Seth Rogen.
So is this good?
John
So,
Cena's
so this is animated. Okay.
It's that Into the Spider-Verse.
the Spider-Verse style.
which is actually really good. The animation in this is
I like
great.
that. I like that animation type.
I like that they're
like that
learning their
Spider-Man.
powers. So this is the early days of them trying to figure things out and all that.
Well, nothing we can do. You guys want to grab pizza?
And it looks good.
It's bringing back characters from like the cartoon and comics that you never see.
Yeah, so,
actually,
the Jackie Chan's Splinter, which is a little Samuel Jackson. So, that'd be cool if they'd done that with some Afro Samurai vibes. But,
John Cena's a voice.
yeah,
Rocksteady.
I like. Yeah, so it's for kids again, but not. So it's like very PG-13. I'm
I'm
not
excited.
100% against it. I don't know if I'm 100%.
You don't know. I
on
mean,
board.
it's like
It rolls off the tongue better.
I like a good cartoon. Did you guys see the last Puss in Boots?
Yes, that was amazing.
That was a fantastic
That was
movie.
amazing.
But you know what movie is going to be even better? That comes out the end of this month.
March 31st.
Dungeon and Dragons: Honor Amongst
This
Thieves.
is
The
just
Dungeons and Dragons
nothing
movie?
but a bunch of like D&D memes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
They released the
It's like, gee,
stats.
wouldn't
on
an owl
D&D
bear
Beyond.
be really amazing? Look, there's an owl bear, you know? And it's like, yeah.
But then I guess one of the teams they compete against in that challenge is the kids from the cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. In the arena, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Never winner.
Oh, that's excellent. Is that in this preview? Because I missed
I don't know
it.
if that's in this preview. That was
Oh, that's funny.
like a year ago.
Oh, wow.
Just a blink and you miss it kind of thing.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
portal.
Portal.
Boop, boop.
Facing the greatest evil the world
And,
has ever known.
Red Wizards
The Red
of
Wizards of
Thay,
Thay,
which is,
absolutely.
Forgotten Realms staple. I thought they were going to go Vecna just because they've been building up Vecna so much lately.
Right.
There's that arena. Oh, Mimic. You know.
No, they
Yep.
got it right.
Yeah.
Oh, the Displacer Beast is cool
Yeah.
too.
You're
Right.
going with there's the
There's the
classic gelatinous cubes. Yeah. So I mean, and those are the ones that they've copyrighted, so of course they're going to use those.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Yeah, here's your.
Yep.
This is such a great little clip.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes on for a while, but it's funny.
It does.
Kind of.
Not in this, but in the,
Why did you end it with okay?
yeah.
It is. Like we were saying, every
Wait,
game
not
group
you,
I
not
DM
you.
for it. Right.
All right. Yeah. Right. You had a question mark.
Okay.
So good.
Did you say okay?
It really
And
is.
this
And
is
it's,
definitely something that happened.
That tiefling.
every group I've ever did, whenever they use a speak with dead, it's always pandemonium and chaos at my table
Yeah.
when I run. So.
Oh yeah. There's your classic.
Yeah.
How many saving throws can you make?
Oh, that was new.
The Black Dragon breathing actual acid, which is nice.
God, I can't wait.
And it's funny because what Knights of the Dinner Table, we talked about it on an old Comics
Yeah.
101, just hit their 300th issue, and
That is amazing, though, that they've done
which
that.
for an indie comic, I think the only other thing that did it was Bone and Spawn, and Spawn has had hundreds of writers and hundreds of artists and all this.
But Knights is the same
Knights,
person.
same
Yeah.
duo. Jolly and his wife Barbara have been doing that since. And if you count all the stuff before that, where they did it for Shadis and they did it for Dragon,
I was going to say, that's
Yeah.
where I actually first read it, back in
Yeah.
the old Dragon mag.
before they started doing their own
Right,
just
right,
comic.
right.
So they just hit the 300th issue, and again, they have a section called Tales from the Table, and that's what this reminded me of so much.
Yeah.
Just people write in the stupidest thing that happened that week, and
Yeah, it's like Mad Lib's Adventures.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's fun. You read those, and it's just like,
And you came across give me a beast.
pretty much. And
Name a beast.
And this holy relic, you rolled a 1 on, and and caused whatever.
Incredible
Right.
mayhem.
It's going to be interesting, though,
Always.
because there's that whole brouhaha with the open gaming license.
Yeah, this right before
And
this.
right
If they had
before
not
this.
done that, this would be the #1 trending movie.
I think it would be, too.
in
I think they
years.
really
I think
shot themselves
A lot
in
of
the
people
foot.
are boycotting it
They
because of
are.
that.
They
So,
are. I mean, it's been a twist too. I mean, Pathfinder Second Edition. They sold in 2 weeks. They sold 8 months worth of books.
Yeah, Chaosium, Call of Cthulhu.
Chaosium
they sold
through.
more in one day than they had in the last 3
Yeah,
years.
even the Pathfinder Humble Bundle is setting or bundle is setting records still. So I think they really, oh man, it's a
So what happened with D&D licensing?
Okay, we
Oh,
did an
God.
episode on this a while
Okay,
ago.
all right. Yeah.
It was a
Basically,
mess.
Dungeons and Dragons was revoking TSR, Wizards of the Coast.
Got it.
Was revoking.
Hasbro.
Hasbro was doing it. Was revoking the license that let everybody make all those games like.
They're trying to be
Pathfinder,
sly
use
about
the-
it.
Oh, wow.
D&D rules. They were saying when we come out with our new edition, 6th edition, everybody you have to use this, and all your old stuff that you read, you can no longer keep in print.
Right.
Revoke
And
it.
anything that you wrote, we get to use. You know,
We get to use it. You don't have
yeah.
any choice
You
in
don't have any
it.
choice.
And we can actually, if we like it, we're going to print it.
And
we
if
get
you're
the money.
if you're
And if
gonna
you made-
want to write something, you got to pay us a lot.
And it was basically because of Critical Role making millions on their animated and all this stuff, and they were like, "Hey, we need a piece of that. That's our intellectual.
That's our
property."
IP.
Yeah.
So, they weren't completely in the wrong, but the way they went about it was really wrong. And then they wouldn't reply for weeks.
It was an
months.
example of how not to do.
how not
it
to
was,
run a campaign
It was
for marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a new
that
person.
sounds rather.
It was a new person that joined Hasbro that did it.
Sounds like
That's
similar to when when Star Trek got PO'd at the feature films.
The feature film,
the indie features that were actually coming out, and they were starting to get better than the ones coming out of the studios. So like, oh, you got to limit it to 15 minutes.
Yeah. Well, what's the because there's the two studios that have the classic sets. There's the one in Georgia.
The one in Georgia.
That's called Neutral Zone Studios.
Yep.
That's not.
Is that still around?
It's
Yes.
still around. It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
licensed,
I didn't know
and you can
that.
actually go. Film
I thought they
movies
got
up
shut
there.
down and
No, the show got shut
the
down,
show
but you can
got
still
shut
do tours, and you can shoot 15-minute films there.
Oh,
And that's what
I
they're
thought that
doing.
went
Now, the
away.
one
Okay.
in New York
Yeah.
has the license, and you can film whatever the hell you want there. But CBS gets a chunk of your profits, and and that's
I don't think that's a bad way to do it. I don't have an issue with that. At least open it up, because I'll tell you what, Tim Russ was turning out to be a damn good director.
to Neutral Zone Studios in Georgia. They need to make that deal, I think, because it's their set's better.
Are they the ones that came to MegaCon?
Huh?
Were they the ones at
Yeah, they're the
MegaCon?
ones that brought it to Mega.
That's where John has that photo with what's her name?
Yeah.
When the
Yep.
show there.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
I mean that series that they made, with how many episodes did they make?
I don't know.
Star Trek continues.
with Vic Mignola.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let's not talk about him.
No, it was.
We don't need to talk about him.
He's been
No, it
canceled,
was.
so-
He has been canceled, but no.
he's
But
an
anyway,
issue.
but Wizards did all this right before their movie's going to drop.
Yeah, and
I
right
think-
before they announced the play testing for 6th edition.
Right.
and-
Plus, they have the book coming out that's going to be an adventure book. It runs in conjunction with the movie,
and
that's
then they just bought D&D Beyond back, so
Yeah.
it's going to be you have to use their app and to do all this stuff now. And it was all bad. And then, of course, they announced their next thing, which is kind of another sequel to the Waterdeep heist thing.
Mm-hmm.
So their next thing was like some vault, breaking into a vault. So their logo for D&D Beyond that they posted the day after everybody's, they're only after money, is like the B for D&D Beyond on a coin, and it looks like freaking a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And it could not.
That's great.
Oh, it did not go.
Worse.
Yeah.
The memes. Everything was just.
I mean,
gold.
I am not. I don't.
Literally gold.
Yeah, I don't spend a lot of time on Twitter.
Yeah.
But the rants, and it was
it
a
got bad.
bloodbath. It was. I would
Well,
just.
so many people canceled
Oh, it was
D&D
great.
Beyond,
Oh,
and
that was what made them stop
Yeah.
it, was because
which was
suddenly
crazy.
everybody
They changed the app to cancel it. You had to go
To-
different links to do it.
You could no longer just do it in the app.
You had
Yeah.
to submit, and you had to submit. But before was it you click and you were done? You had to actually go to the bottom of the page, do a tech support link,
and you had to send a
request
chat
it.
why
Yeah.
you wanted to cancel.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
crazy.
And then once they started doing that, they realized, oh crap, we just lost
We screwed up.
$1 million in revenue
Yeah.
per month.
Well, what's interesting
You know?
too, I know we already talked about this, but even like the major media picked up on it and was running
yeah.
stories.
That was-
It was pretty big. So for sure.
That was pretty intense.
But, yeah, which is
now
too
the
bad.
Movie, I think it's still going to do good.
I'm still going to see the movie.
Oh yeah,
I
it
just
looks
bought
like a
the
lot of
action
fun.
Figures for the classic cartoon they just put out.
Oh, that's cool.
Right.
The first three of the main characters, which is Bobby and Hank and Andy and Sheila the acrobat.
Yep.
And then Venger and Dungeon Master in a duo set. And then they just announced the next three, and we were all worried that they were going to get canceled because of all this backlash.
Right.
They're coming out.
Yep.
But they are compatible with the movie figures that are coming out for this.
Oh, okay.
And they
okay.
are already put out the gelatinous cube, and you can put your figures in the gelatinous
Yeah,
cube.
yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'm a nerd.
So I want to bring up one last thing.
Yeah.
And that is the sad demise of Funko Pops.
Yes.
They had a massive inventory of them that was costing them more to store than they could sell them for.
Yeah.
And so they are actually dumping how many?
Landfill.
2 million?
No, it was like $30 million.
There was well, yeah, but like
So they're
Going
going.
into
2 million Funko Pops going into a
I was
landfill.
gonna say this is like an
the
ET.
ET road has been hit
But
by
if you go to
Funko.
any con now, like I was just at PensaCon.
There's tons
Oh my
of
God.
Pop dealers, and none of them were selling anything because
No.
nobody buys it anymore.
Yeah.
It's done.
No, that was a fad.
Well, and
you know,
you know
that
what,
was
though?
babies of their day.
It is.
Exactly.
And the price is still, I think, just way too.
Yeah, too high.
The only pops
Yeah,
I bought were
Pogs.
ones that intrigued me, like some D&D ones and so
Some
on. Like,
obscure characters
Yep.
and stuff, and even then I got bored with them pretty quick.
Yeah.
So.
No.
But we
I
are
agree.
almost out of time, gang. So,
Almost.
yeah.
Well, that was
Just like
fun.
with Funko.
Countdown.
Dr. Funko's
No.
not, you know, just
Yeah,
don't
it
know.
is.
Yep.
Keep your eye-
Well, what you want to do is you want to find, yeah, but you stayed at a Holiday Inn
Oh, and
Express last night.
Walgreens has special editions. GameStop's even more trouble because they were all in on Funko. Yeah, when you have a Walgreens special edition, a GameStop special edition, and a Target special
Hot
edition.
Topic one.
Hot Topic special editions. Guess what? Nothing's special when it's all special.
exactly.
Thank you,
Yep.
Incredibles.
All
But,
right.
oh
Thank
my
you
gosh,
much.
We're out. That's it.
It
Hey,
was a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh.
thank you all for tuning in.
I will
All
be
right.
back
We had a
in few
great
weeks.
show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for going on.
Yes,
Raker Mandela.
he won't look the same,
And
but
remember-
you know,
But we love y'all.
Baby
and,
cryptids. Baby
stay-
take care.
We'll see.